Hey friends, Justin here. Welcome back to another review and of Just Like That, episode 8. Are you guys ready? We're just gonna jump right in. Okay, this is how you know this episode was crazy. No water this week. I've got my Diet Coke. I hope you guys have your drink. Let's get right in. Che is performing at an LGBT rally that Miranda is there to support her for, and she sees Brady in the audience. And instead of rolling with it, instead of embracing the change, she hides. She slinks off into the background, and it is hilarious. We finally find out. Che and Miranda talk afterwards. Miranda goes and gets her some iced coffees. She says, doesn't your husband know that you're in an open marriage? And, Miranda says basically, I didn't know I was in an open marriage. And all is revealed. A lot of Che's behavior, their behavior, has been because she assumed that this was consensual between all of the parties in the marriage, and it's a no-go for Che when she finds out that it's not. I thought she was a little bit harsh, talking to Miranda. It's interesting. I feel sympathy for Miranda, but she agrees to give Miranda a chance if she clears up the situation. She says it's not fair that you're married and lying. One thing about me, I may be all of these things, but I don't lie. So that was crazy. We finally got, them to talk. Seema and Carrie, my girl Seema, they're hanging out in Carrie's archive. She's got fabulous dresses from her 20s or 30s or 40s. And they're just reveling in this beautiful fashion in a New York City apartment. It's just lovely and reminds me of the old Sex and the City. But she calls, is it Jackie, one of the guys on the podcast, and she's like, how in a hip way do I tell these neighbors of mine to shut the hell up? How do I ask them to be quiet? And he's funny. He says the only way you can do it is with a gun. As with these things, because I've been in this situation too, you finally get frustrated and you say something, and they say, oh, sorry, ma'am, and put you in your place. I had to tell some kids the other day, they were trying to sneak through the fence from my complex to another apartment complex, and I had to yell over, don't break that fence, and I just felt like a curmudgeonly older man, and I said, oh my God, I'm becoming my parents. Charlotte and Harry are fooling around and get caught by Lily. That was so funny. And Charlotte just doesn't know what to do. But we're going to get back to Charlotte. Carrie's neighbor finally comes over to apologize and to, try to be cool with her. And Carrie she looks like an auntie. She looks like the older crazy neighbor. She's got the green face mask on and is just not in the position to look like what she wants to. And I know how that is. You run into that one person that you're kind of interested in impressing, but it's always at the wrong time. So we go to dinner at the lobster place, and Miranda is talking divorce. It's become a real thing. What was interesting about that is, it was kind of an afterthought at dinner. Miranda brings it up, and then they quickly move on to Charlotte and her issues, and Carrie, and blah, 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 blah. It was like an afterthought, and I thought, that would be the mainstay of dinner. They start talking about Harry and Charlotte's behavior. I basically wrote, they blow past Miranda to talk about the quote-unquote blowjob. But Carrie does say, when they're at the sweet shop, alone in theory is so much different than being alone in reality. And makes an interesting question. Is Che actually going to be interested in you after you leave, Steve? Or is this just a harebrained, fly-by-night, scheme that you're in? We're still on the fence. At the end of the episode, what, Miranda does is so crazy that it could backfire on her. So Carrie takes the brownies over to the neighbor's house to try to be cool, and runs into the hot neighbor. He's hot, 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 but you can tell he's a womanizer. And she tries to make peace again, only to be called ma'am once again. And so she's kind of auntied or put into that headspace again. Miranda catches Che outside of a building on her way to Cleveland, and she confronts her. And they do discuss the fact that they are in love with one another. But what was interesting is Che says, I'm not traditional, and I can't offer you traditional. Is what Miranda is getting into, is it more than she can take? The rejection and the ups and downs of casual, 2022 casual. Is that really what Miranda wants? What do you guys think? When she gets into this Instagram love with Che, what's going to happen? Is it going to be too wild for her coming from the comfort of Steve? Che says, I can't do it. I'm not into traditional. Charlotte and Lily go to lunch, and Lily posts some sexy pictures on Instagram. She's 15 years old. And I had the same reaction that Charlotte did at first. I says, oh, that's kind of a bummer to see your daughter in that light. You're not wanting to see her that way. But, in retrospect, the girl is 15, she's growing up, and she was actually responsible and careful with her own image. Lily goes to Carrie's. They should to spend the night. Carrie wakes up and sneaks down to the cool neighbor's apartment, turns the lights out for her, blows out the candle, and turns off the music, which was sweet. Finds out she's a pretty important designer, which kind of changes Carrie's perspective or thoughts about her. Charlotte and Lily finally have a heart-to-heart, and it's revealed that she's still an innocent girl, because she thinks mom and dad, that mom was checking for dad's cancer. I don't say that in a funny way, but she still is a little girl. So Miranda asks Steve, to get his hearing aids, and she asks for a divorce. She says, this is not enough for me. And I got teary-eyed, and I just said, poor Steve. He says things like, I'm always there, hanging in there. Through all of the ups and downs, I've always hung around. And it just broke my heart when he says, I'm too old to rally for us again. Honey, Miranda is thrilled, kind of sadly, kind of selfishly thrilled. And she's off to Cleveland to confront Che and let her know about their newfound love. Carrie bonds with the downstairs neighbor over the breakup, and tells Miranda, best of luck with what you've going on. This is a whirlwind, and I hope it works for you. What do you guys think is going to happen when Miranda gets to Cleveland? Things just don't work out in a storybook way. So I'm over the moon thrilled for her that she took the step, if that's what makes you happy. But I'm concerned about the fall if things don't work out the way that they should. Give this video, share your comments below. This was a whirlwind episode. Give this video a like, if you will, a comment in the comments, and join my channel if you're new. And until our next review, cheers. Have a great day.